So I was watching the news the other day and they showed the flag of Afghanistan. And I was like, why does Afghanistan have a red, black, and green flag? Then I remembered that I had seen the flag of Libya, and they also use a red, black, and green flag. And I was like, well, Libya is in Africa, so that's probably why they're using red, black, and green. But then I saw the flag of Palestine, red, black, and green, and white. Then I saw the flag of Iraq, red, black, and green, and white. And so I asked myself the question, why do all these Muslim countries have a red, black, and green flag if red, black, and green are Pan-African colors? And research into this subject led me down a rabbit hole called Vexillology. So Vexillology is the scientific study of flags, which includes studying the history and symbolism, as well as the various symbols that appear on the flags and the colors which appear on the flags. So when you study vexillology, you actually find that there are certain color schemes that have become attributed to or represent different ethnic groups of people, right? For example, the red, white, and blue color scheme are considered the colors of the pan-Slavic nations, basically European or white nations. You think about France, Great Britain, United States, they all use a red, white, and blue color scheme, right? But in vexillology, you also find out that red, yellow, or gold and green are considered the Pan-African colors, and red, black, green, and white are considered Pan-Arab colors. So when we look at the flags of African countries and which colors appear most frequently in the flags of African countries, we find that the color red appears in 80% of all flags of African countries. Green is the second most frequent color. Yellow is the third most frequent color. So red, yellow, and green are indeed the most three frequently used colors in the flags of African countries. So the reason why the colors red, gold, and green, or red, yellow, and green are the most common colors used in the flags of African countries is because many of the countries copied the color pattern of the flag of Ethiopia, which, depending on which source you're looking at, they'll tell you that Ethiopia was the only African country to never be colonized, or the first African country to receive its independence, depending on which source is documenting the information. And that's the reason why you find red, yellow, and green, or red, gold, and green as the most common color scheme in the flags of African countries. Now, when we look at the color scheme used by Arab or Muslim countries, red is the number one color, white is the number two color, green is the number three color, and black is the number four color. So the reason why red, black, green, and white are colors used by Muslim countries is because each one of those colors represents the color of a flag flown by a historical figure in the religion of Islam, right? They tell you that red is the color of the flag flown by the Hashemites. Black was the color of the flag flown by the Islamic prophet Muhammad. Green was the color of the flag flown by the Fatima Caliphate. And white was the color of the flag flown by the Umayyad Caliphate. So this is the reason why you find red, black, green, and white so common in the flags of Arab or Muslim countries. So you'll find a red, black, and green color scheme appearing in the flags of Arab and Muslim countries more often than you'll find that color scheme appearing in the flag of African countries. Now, when we look at African countries that have red, black, and green in their flag, there are only 12, or roughly 22% of all African countries have the colors red, black, and green in their flag, compared to 41% of African countries that have the colors red, yellow, and green in their flag. And of the African countries that have red, black, and green in their flag, 3 of those countries have the colors red, black, and green because they are Islamic or Muslim countries. Sudan, South Sudan, and Libya. Those 3 African countries use a red, black, and green color scheme because they are Muslim countries. So this begs the question, if red, black, green, and white are considered pan-Arab colors, then why is it that Africans in the diaspora have adopted red, black, and green as the pan-African colors as opposed to red, yellow, and green, or red, gold, and green? So this takes us into the history of Marcus Garvey and the UNIA, because the red, black, and green flag was introduced by Marcus Garvey and the UNIA. So when Marcus Garvey introduced the red, black, and green flag, he said that red was the color of blood, redemption, and liberty. Black is the color of the people, and green represents the color of the land. And this was the reason given for the choice of the red, black, and green colors. But it's a well-known fact that Marcus Garvey was friends with Deuce Muhammad Ali from the Sudan. And it's likely that Deuce Muhammad Ali informed Marcus Garvey that just 50 years prior to the UNIA adopting a red, black, and green flag, Muhammad Ahmed of the Sudan, who created the Mahdist state of Sudan, also flew a red, black, and green and white flag. So it's likely that Marcus Garvey may have been inspired through his friend Deuce Muhammad Ali to copy a color scheme similar to that of Muhammad Ahmed of the Sudan. So in defense of Marcus Garvey, when he did choose the colors red, black, and green for the Pan-African flag, this was in 1920, years before many of the African countries gained their independence and started declaring their own flags. Most of the African countries gained their independence in the 50s and 60s. And you do find in some African countries where they did adopt the red, black, and green color scheme as their national flag, they were adopting those colors based on the colors chosen by Marcus Garvey. But in all honesty, we really don't need any kind of division or separation. It shouldn't be red, black, and green versus red, gold, and green, or RBGs versus RGGs. I think really to unify people, all you have to do is just adopt a 4-color scheme as the Pan-African colors, red, black, green, and yellow, right? And those are the Pan-African colors. It satisfies the 3 most common colors found in the flags of African nations, as well as the red, black, and green color scheme chosen by Marcus Garvey in 1920. But that's it. This is just an interesting thing that I was researching, and I thought I would share just to get people thinking, and maybe they'll take a deeper dive into the world of vexillology and the symbolism of colors on flags. Peace.